I thought this was supposed to be a motorcycle channel. Let's actually ride some motorcycles. What's up, Rito? Shoot Surgeon here, and it's day one, as in we're still in Tampa, haven't gotten on the plane yet. Day one of our 3-week motorcycle adventure across the United States. And as per usual, I am woefully unprepared. But that's okay. Packing for a long motorcycle trip can be an insane exercise in frustration and paranoia for a lot of folks. And while some people would cringe at my aggressively nonchalant attitude towards preparation, I find that removing the stress of remembering every single thing before I go serves my total enjoyment of the trip much better. One thing I don't skimp on is tools. I'm not going to list every single thing I bring, but I'll tell you after my last trip, a test light and a voltmeter are now essential. Oh, and don't forget duct tape. I've never once had a trip end without some form of duct tape residue decorating the motorcycle I was riding. I make sure everything I need to make a video and other items that aren't easily replaced are in my carry-on, and I take my helmet as a personal item. The rest I check and mentally let go of, just in case it doesn't make it to where I'm going. I really love airports and flying, surely not for the liminal ambience, and definitely not for the cramped spaces, but for the total release of responsibility. As long as I step on the plane when I'm supposed to, everything else is out of my hands. I am merely meat cargo, shuffled into the shiny tube and catapulted across the United States. The impersonality of it all is actually quite relaxing. This is me filming myself pondering the forced insignificance of air travel and walking directly past where Shay was sitting. Notable low point of the trip was a chicken salad sandwich that had to have violated the Geneva Convention, but the nice German tourist who sat next to me on the plane patted my arm and then assured me it was absolutely okay if our thighs touched certainly made up for it. Probably the nicest thing anyone has ever done for me on an airplane. Day 2. I promised myself I would work out every day I stayed somewhere at the gym, and even though Frau Helga assured me that my chubby thighs encroaching in her personal space was alles gut, I'm still taking my weight loss seriously. It's easy to fall into the trap of treating a cross-country trip like a cheap month, partaking in the many and varied mystical herbs, powders, and delicacies of foreign land. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to do all that stuff, but I'm at least going to attempt to slightly mitigate it by working out wherever I can.
I call this girl breakfast.
I feel like you're mocking me. After girl breakfast, Sugar Tree Jason drove us down to see our friends at Legion Moto Co., who help us fix up all the sketchy old bikes we ride cross country. I love Legion for a lot of different reasons. The fact that they have a DIY space is so freaking cool. The bar at the shop is amazing, but I really just dig the incredible variety of motorcycles you see outside the shop at any given time. All right, out here at Legion Moto, well, it's Portland. It's true, in Portland, larger diversity of motorcycles out here. You can sit here in front of Legion Motor and be like, there's a Moto Guzzi, there's a Kawasaki 900 getting taken for a ride, there's a Honda VLX, Yamaha XT350, KLR 650. The amount of diverse bikes out here is pretty wild, man. I'm not gonna lie. Just goes to show you that Harleys very much do not have a lock on the market for bikes that break down. We sat down and had a few beers with the boys from Legion and checked out some of the builds they were working on, but our German Uber Dad bikes weren't quite ready yet.
I'm looking at the bike, not his ass, I promise.
Sugar Tree Jason presented us with some amazing knives to celebrate our collaboration and a fancy steak dinner because he's just cool like that. The meal was amazing, and even the full-size human turd on the bathroom floor wouldn't stop me from giving it the coveted delicious rating.
What a queen.
Back at Jason's place, the Dab Factory, we checked out our final packages for our distillate collaboration. Yes, it is dope. For free. Jason from Sugar Tree had all these printed out to give away for free. They're on heavyweight tees too, so these ain't no joke. It's definitely a surreal feeling seeing something 2 years in the making finally come to fruition. By the time this video comes out, our first 2 strains, Whiskey Throttle and Pondering the Orb, should be hitting Oregon dispensaries near you. Never one to rest on his laurels, Jason also introduced us to a one-of-one machine he had commissioned to fill all-in-one dab pens, so be on the lookout for a Brapstar session dab pens coming soon as well. A dab dispensing machine. Usually these can only be done by heating up the space that it's in. That changes the consistency and turns it from crystals into oil, and this does it strictly through pressure. One of one.
Yeah, one of one.
Sugar Tree Farm and Sessions does business. They do business, baby. We also checked out 2 more motorcycles that he donated to Forgotten Angels in addition to the twin BMWs. He also has donated twin Honda XR650Rs. The XR650R has absolutely nothing in common with its mild-mannered cousin, the XR650L. The legendary Big Red Pig is definitely a mythical beast that has reached named weapon status. Whether you want a balls-out Baja Desert sled or big-bore super supermoto that'll take a DRZ's lunch money, these bikes bring the heat and harken back to that gilded age when Honda's field of fucks was barren. Huge thanks to Jason and the boys from Sugar Tree Farm, not only for taking a chance on me, Shaylisi, and Brapstar, but also for all the motorcycles they've donated, and these two righteous bikes, which will be raffling both off, with 100% of the proceeds benefiting Forgotten Angels and their fight to end the cycle of abuse in the foster care system. So I just made a mistake. They're actually both tagged, which is rare. If you know 650Rs tagged XR 650R, very desirable, we'll say. All right, it's day 3, and I thought this was supposed to be a motorcycle channel. Let's actually ride some motorcycles. The first thing I did to our BMW police auction bikes was cover them in magnets because everything from my phone case to my bag mounts requires them. And these Schnitzel glides have more plastic on them than any given trophy wife shopping on Rodeo Drive. Shaylisi got her cup holder after all. Some stories do have a happy ending. Okay, let's see what these BMWs are made of. I thought I'd get 2 birds stoned at once and use our ride back to the hotel to get used to the bike and learn how to use my brand new Garmin GPS. It did not go well. Just if you miss a turn and it has to reroute, it just seems to take way longer than my phone would. But I do want to use a GPS on this trip because I want to take some more adventurous routing, which it claims it can do, so let's learn how to use this thing. Almost immediately, it tried to send me down some train tracks, and even though I was starting to lose my temper with it, I certainly can't argue that riding down the train tracks qualifies as adventurous riding. What the fuck? The GPS was just telling me to turn down the train tracks. Maybe we'll try turning that setting down. I don't know about this GPS, man. First off, with the Garmin, it was a hard sell for me because I'm so used to using my phone. I'm a little bit of a technophobe sometimes, but now it's just like having me double back all over the place. I'm following its directions. This is not going well. 3 strikes and you're out, Chief. My temper was so lost now, not even a working GPS could find it. Now it just turned to frickin'... I can't see the damn GPS. Dude, this is not looking good for Garmin. It just like turned the brightness so far down that I can't even see it anymore. Apparently below 20% battery level, it turns the display down, but it went down so low I couldn't even see it, and I couldn't tell where I was going on unfamiliar streets. So like turn the brightness down. I can't see it at all. To add insult to injury, I later found out that the Garmin will not charge at all unless it has the cable it came with. So even though I brought a cable that fits it, I have a $400 paperweight. That'll teach me to try something new. Adding a dash of humiliation and panic on top of the insult and injury Sunday, when we stopped for gas, we discovered Shaylisi's phone had slipped out of her pocket somewhere in the last 20 miles. Luckily, we have our phone location shared with each other so I could see where it was. Unluckily, it was in the middle of downtown Portland. You would always hope that someone who found a phone would do the right thing, but we also know never trust a junkie. I went triple digits and lane splitting back to downtown, leaving Shaylisi at the gas station. I was positive when I got there it would either be gone and turned off to hide its location, or it would lead me to a tent village and have to strong arm it off a street fiend. I was hoping for someone on the horse because they don't put up much of a struggle, but I came loaded for chicken feed. Luckily, we're still God's favorite idiots, and a fairly new iPhone was 100% untouched right on the street in front of Legion Motoco. Yeah, there it is. Holy shit, dude. Has any iPhone in the world on the streets of Portland stayed in the same spot for more than 30 minutes? That's ridiculous. I'm gonna go play the fucking lottery, dude. I was like, there's no way, dude. That's some crackhead's phone now. Dude. All right, now we're for real going. And it was only after I picked up the phone that I realized I didn't know the address where I left Shaylisi, and now her location, according to her iPhone, was with me. She's just sitting there going like, wow, I'm fucked. I have absolutely no way to let her know that her phone's fine. I also realized that I don't know exactly where she is, so I'm just going to try to retrace my steps and cross my fingers. Against all odds, I actually managed to retrace my steps, proving once again that even a broken clock is right twice a day. I can only imagine how stressed Shay must have been sitting at that gas station for over an hour, not knowing if her phone was lost, absolutely no way to know where I was, in a town she's not familiar with, not knowing what's happening, no way to contact anyone if I didn't return. So, of course, when I got back, I had to fuck with her. Oh, we had to try.
Is it gone?
No, of course, we had to try, and it was totally there, not even broken. Say, nothing bad could happen to us. We're God's favorite idiots. Let's celebrate. Are you still taking it in? Like, you're like, you still have a phone?
Oh, sure.
I could tell in your voice.
Was it gone?
It was smashed to a million billion.
Smashed into a
Oh, yeah.
million billion.
Run over.
I haven't backed up my phone in a year.
When they're leaned over like that, the oil seeps into the head and it blows it out smoke. Gold wings do it too. Note to self. Make sure you put this on the center stand at night and also bring some oil. She's getting her own workouts, freaking lifting up that BMW. She's doing it though. I've only had to help her once and that was on a pretty steep incline.
The most disturbing thing about it is not that it's a half-eaten potato, it's the fact that somebody's saving it for later. Okay, this was put down carefully.
After the traffic and the detour to find the phone, time was running out of the day, and once the high wore off from finding the phone, I found myself starting to get antsy and frustrated. Our original plan to ride to the coast and view the Lewis and Clark expedition's final destination was looking less and less likely. Finally, feeling trapped, we just decided to head to the coast on the twistiest road we could find and go as far as we could while leaving enough time to get back to Legion for the pre-party. I was plagued with indecision, which of course makes the grains of time run even faster. Plans falling apart tend to make me forget that I'm one of the luckiest people in the world. Getting to experience this amazing country on the back of a motorcycle, I get mean and petty and start to feel sorry for myself, and I will tell you it takes about 2 miles of riding a motorcycle fast down a gorgeous road to make me forget what being angry even feels like.
It only takes a few seconds of this to just put every annoying thought directly out of my head. I feel great again. Listen up, baby, when it comes to being in a bad mood, riding a motorcycle is indeed the universal solvent.
A few more miles and everything was so beautiful and the motorcycle was performing so well that I would have swore on a stack of Bibles that I'd have made the whole trip just to do 10 miles of this road. That heady cocktail of speed, mechanical music, and wind in your face has never once failed to make me feel just as excited to be on two wheels as the first day I swung a leg over a motorcycle. Big BMW was shockingly agile, even with my fat ass on it. It was still my first day on it, so I didn't push things too hard, but I felt like it had plenty more to give. And even though my heart lies with the KZ1000 when it comes to police bikes, I absolutely cannot deny that the BMW RT 1150p is probably the best bang for your buck out right now. These old police models are everywhere. The engine is a proven tank that will run forever. It revs fast and shifts with a very confidence-inspiring solid clunk, but is also completely happy to lug around in top gear through the corners if you don't feel like rolling through the gears. The engine is great. The seating position is perfect. The fairing unmatched, except by the Goldwing, of course. But where the RT 1150 really shines over the wing is the handling. It does not feel like a full-dress touring bike. It handles way more like a Honda VFR than it does a Goldwing. This thing is downright sporty and an absolute joy to operate. There's something incredibly satisfying about the odd bustle of the opposed twin, the way it buzzes you up a hill or screams out of a turn if you really wring its neck. The much maligned servo-assisted brakes, after a small learning curve, performed flawlessly, and even though I felt like the transmission gear ratios were spaced out a bit too short, I was in love with how solid and dependable everything feels. When you ride it, it truly just feels like a motorcycle that will last forever, and the peace of mind, even if it's true or not, that a solidly built bike lends you on a long trip lets you plunge in with full abandon. It's a BMW, my good man, steadfast and stalwart, so damn the torpedoes, full steam ahead. We got to a halfway point that was nowhere near our original destination, but still left us enough time to get back to Legion and hang at the group ride pre-party. Look at a place like this, I always wonder why anybody bothers camping in Florida, because this place looks like a freaking movie set, man. And trust me, I love the Wang, I love Florida, but it ain't like this. Once again, I'm completely blown away by the surreal beauty that Oregon offers. The place looks like a movie set. It's so perfect that it starts to edge right into the uncanny valley territory, and it's easy to see why these forests are alleged to be teeming with mythical beasts and undiscovered oddities. The place just seems like oh, there I go. Hey man, it's not my fault. I spent all my skill points on luck, not dexterity. And while the Dad Force 1s have a +5 buff for grilling and lawn maintenance, they're not what I would call ideal for exploring the Enchanted Forest. It was hard to believe that we're only about 50 miles outside of downtown Portland. Walking around that stream, surrounded by rocks aeons in the making, under the boughs of trees that were tall when Lewis and Clark trudged by. The idea of a city at that point seemed preposterous, the height of hubris. I was immensely happy to have made the effort to spend some time, short as it was, among something so much bigger than myself. The perspective such immensity gives to your own personal problems make them seem like crumbs that can be brushed away without a thought.
Alright, let's ride. I'm making us late for our hangout later.
Though riding away from it did leave me feeling melancholy. Mere hours before, I had been fully prepared to violently assault someone less fortunate than myself. And for what? An object? A phone? Certainly not a cheap object, but absolutely not irreplaceable. And for that, I would have put my life and someone else's at risk over something I could afford to replace. The sheer arrogance of it left me feeling slightly ashamed of myself. It was also heartbreaking to think about people living in tents and squalor and abject poverty 50 miles away from all of this place, so gut-wrenchingly beautiful, so peaceful and so moving, they've probably never even seen it. An hour ride away from me, but for them, it might as well be on the moon. Any good piece of art leaves you with conflicting emotions, deep thoughts, and questions without answer. Nature's art is no exception. Great minds ponder and worry them like a terrier over a rat. Luckily for me, I do not have a great mind. My brain would probably be more at home in the skull of a bare-ass baboon than its current spaceship. Because just a few miles down the road, there was no thoughts, only bike. And the answer to every question I could currently think of surely lay at the apex of the next turn. I am a simple man. I like bike.
What an absolute joy this road is. Dude, you lucky bastards. You lucky bastards in Portland. I swear to God, this is why everybody has motorcycles out there.
If you live in Portland and you haven't experienced this road, do yourself a favor and rectify that. Post haste. I promise it'll cure what ails you. Back in the city, I chose the first restaurant that came up on my maps, a place called The Jory.
I think we're out of our element.
Little did I know it was smack dab in the middle of a rich dickhead storage facility.
Dude, I picked a restaurant bar. I didn't know they were going to have like avant-garde art here.
We got the valet to ask his manager if he could park our bikes, but the queen of the land of no fun shot that one down. Abstract art and a stairway that looked like it was inspired by a haiku made me worry that lunch might come with a credit check. Even though we stuck out like a couple of cocks in a cow pasture, they did let us sit at the bar and order food. I ordered a $20 hamburger, and if you believe the description on the menu, it was made with cows that could trace back their genealogy farther than I can. I truly felt among the 1% when I prepared for my first bite, and the piano player built to a crescendo, timed perfectly with it, and it sucked. Burger was cold, flavorless, and the bun was dense and doughy. Shay's food wasn't any better. It'll make a turd, I guess. The art was nice. We managed to get to Legion Moto Co. about negative 45 business minutes early, but it was alright. Everybody had a good time, so did we, and we probably partied a little bit too late, but that's alright.
Don't walk away, dude. The original winner, Mr. Nike over here, Road King Kong, the guy who took my favorite motorcycle from me.
I know,
Asshole.
right?
Yeah, you don't get to walk away like that. Anyway, yeah, Road King Kong is here, the guy who won the Devil Tail. We're hanging out. My man there, not to discount anybody else. My man there, all the way from Canada to come here and hang out, and I'm just like, yeah, cool, that's fine. It's probably going to be not that exciting. But I don't know, hopefully somebody's bike sets on fire or something like that, you know? Someone we don't like. I think it's day 4. Yesterday we rode our motorcycles for real. Sugar Tree Jason, Shay Lisi went out and had an amazing ride. It was a lot of fun, and we had the pre-party at Legion Moto Co. Yesterday was just the pre-party, so today we're taking it serious.
We arrived to the meetup at Sugar Tree Jason's place, the Dab Factory, negative 30 business minutes early. We could have been on time, but I didn't want to shock anybody.
Howdy, y'all.
My man, freaking anime nerd over here, who simultaneously looks 17 and 57. Through years of trauma to get that way. The car weeb, better known as Fox, on the Discord, shows up on this freaking like Hattie taillight, cammed out, soft tail deluxe, dude. Not what I expected you to come on. Where's the freaking waifu stickers, man?
That's on my DR.
You want to piss all the freaking old school Harley guys off? Just do pinups on the side, but make them hentai pinups. There's so many different motorcycles, so many different people from so many different walks of life. People who would otherwise maybe never have met each other, people who would have never talked, people who would have never, if they crossed the street and didn't have a motorcycle, they would have never talked to each other at all. If they met on the street, they would have never talked to each other, but you know, add motorcycles into the mix, and if you can find one thing you like about somebody, you can usually find 2 things you like about somebody. If you can find 2, 3 ain't far away.
Huge thanks to Sinister Cycle for letting me sign her bike. She made our group ride one of the very first times out on a motorcycle after months in a hospital bed due to a car sideswiping her. And even though she was using a cane and had enough screws in her leg to hang every picture in my house, there wasn't one complaint heard. Hope you heal up soon.
Thank you,
You're
Josh.
freaking yo, dude, thank you. That kind of shit makes my day.
No, I'm gonna take it real easy.
This is our first full ride.
We'll take it real easy. despite that, we will be taking it easy, I promise you. Like everyone's ready to roll. Definitely gonna take it nice and easy. It's a lot of people's first group ride, and I want everyone to leave with new friends and still loving group rides.
The group ride went great until it didn't. Oh shit.
Always tough leading a big group ride like this. Not tough, I don't mind doing it, but I never want anybody to get left behind. And even though I've had some pretty amazing successes before, at least a few people get separated, and I just hate that.
Unsurprisingly, due to some wrong turns and confusion on my part, half the group got separated and lost, truly giving this group ride the true Shade Tree experience. Luckily, Joe Bowery's wife took charge of the group that I got lost and guided the bikes back to us at Multnomah Greens. My goal for any group ride that we organize is for everyone to leave with a new friend. I want the people that arrive alone to have a new person to call when they want a riding buddy. And if you've ever been to a Brapstar meetup, you know we don't stand for anybody sitting by themselves, and I will personally grab anyone who came alone and start introducing them to people.
I think a lot of it is just the act of doing it together, the act of doing something dangerous together brings people in so tightly. It's kind of what attracts us to motorcycles in the first place, these shiny, peacock, chrome, fast, insane machines that we all love. But then on top of that, engaging in that dangerous activity creates a bond between people that is really something special. So even though group rides aren't very fast and you don't haul ass and you're not dangerous, just the act of riding motorcycles together feels so good. And it makes people bond on such another level.
As I said before, we already know we all love motorcycles. Finding a few other things in common ain't that hard. And even if the only thing you got in common is motorcycles and watching YouTube, well, like Meatloaf says, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, baby. Huge thanks to my man at Multnomah Greens for taking a chance and being the first place you could buy Pondering the Orb and Whiskey Throttle. By the time this video comes out, you should be able to grab them all over Oregon, but if you're in the area, make sure you check out Multnomah Greens. They're great people.
I would have drove 2 days to see you drop that motorcycle, darling. I think that's just sweet. I love that about you.
Thank you.
And you keep getting up, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. As long as someone will pick it up for me.
Thank you, guys.
Another huge thanks goes out to my man Heavy Handed for being the most terrifying goofball on a motorcycle ever. He really helps us break the ice on these rides, because there's nothing like a 6'7", 350-pound scary biker dancing to Wham on his motorcycle to let folks know that they're in the right place. For that matter, huge thanks to everyone in the PNW who has showed up to hang with us at Legion Moto, go on our group rides, donate to Forgotten Angels, and show love to Brapstar. You guys have truly taken us in and made Portland a second home for myself and Shaylisi.
Our friends here from Canada, our returning friends, people who are here every single time we come, new friends, old friends, people who made friends without us, dorks, the man who started it all, Abel, Circus Bear Moto, the whole reason that we're in Portland in the first place. As always, an absolutely amazing time.
I know for a lot of people out there, group rides can be very intimidating, and it always makes my day to see people come away from their very first one with a big smile on their face. We all had lots of fun invading an unsuspecting car show.
I'm a Studebaker.
Day 36, they still don't know it's a motorcycle.
You know, the Kia Soul.
You know, you're really taking it seriously. Even your car alarm is period correct. And after that, we headed back to Legion Moto. Legion Moto has been absolutely amazing to us and is now our go-to spot for meetups and ending the rides most of the time. They're great folks, and if you're in the Portland area, make sure you check them out. We're already making amazing contacts and great friends to help us make our dream of a Forgotten Angels location in Portland a reality. And of course, the person we have to thank the most for that is Jason. Jason from Sessions and Sugar Tree Farm, who has now donated 7 motorcycles for us to raffle off, including the 2 police auction BMWs we're riding back to Tampa. Link to enter that raffle in the description and the pinned comment below. That will also enter you to win $250,000 cash or a house. 100% of all proceeds go to benefit Forgotten Angels and their fight to end the cycle of foster care abuse. After we complete this cross-country journey in our twin Schweinhaxen specials, we'll be pulling raffle tickets for someone to win either of these BMW RTPs or the OG Power Pig, the KZ1000P. Brapstar's very first motorcycle glove collaboration is available now from Odin MFG, the Brapstar Baja Heavy Hitters. Use code Brapstar for 10% off the entire Odin store and a portion of every single one of those sales using that code going to help Forgotten Angels and their mission. And next time on the Shade Tree Surgeon channel.
Crashing through the sky comes a fearful cry. Shade tree, army. Shade tree, army. Armies of the night, evil taking flight. Shade tree, army. Shade tree, army. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Panic spreading far and wide. Can the world oppose the deadliest of foes? Shade tree, army. Shade tree, army. Who will risk it all to end the evil call of Shade tree, army. Shade tree, army. They never give up, they never say die, walking tall with banners high. Shade Tree Army, a ruthless gang of scum, villains, freaks, and bikers determined to rule the world.